Do you agree with Deputy Attorney General Rod Runston's decision to appoint special counsel for former FBI Director Robert Mueller to oversee the Russian investigation?
Yeah.
That's a very good question. Well, it's usually like very unlikely that they bring outside sources in, so there has to be an impact or anything. So I think it's interesting how they brought outside sourcing.
So would you say it was necessary to bring in an outside source?
Yeah, I think it was necessary. They needed a strong leader to.
After President Trump has meetings and stuff, he tends to go on Twitter and lash out and make a lot of tweets. And do you think this hurts his presidency, or do you think it helps him?
Well, from my perspective, I think that lashing out on Twitter is a very childish act, because that, like, I don't know, you have to like monitor the things that you say for everyone else to see, because you're like such a high public figure. So you have to take people's like opinions and whatnot into account. And also, Twitter is like, I don't know, just doing too much.
Well, I think Twitter is actually a good place for a president, but how he does it is horrible. He could do it very professional-like.
What would be a professional way of doing it?
Well, like, not lashing out. Like, he'd be more professional about it, have, like, actual, like, paragraphs instead of just, like, little dumb tweets.
And stop playing the victim. That's what it was that we're trying to sell now.
You don't feel that like going to Twitter is childish, like social media is more like for the youth and not like for presidency?
I mean, you could use it like in a more professional way to like, you know, portray like a broader message. If you're just going there to complain all the time, it is kind of childish. It's not a diary.
Yeah, it's nice to like, if you have like a speech and you want to like say something that you forgot to say, just pop in there.
And then, how did you guys first react when Trump fired the FBI Director James Comey?
Well, personally, I feel like that was kind of a little suspicious because like before, when he was investigating like Hillary, he said that he was gonna fire him, but he never did until like now. Not all the blame is on him. He wants to fire him. So it's kind of like, like rings the bells. Like why at this same time? It's a little bit suspicious.
Donald Trump said he was gonna fire him right when he got into office, and he didn't. So I think it's very suspicious how he waited until he found out that he was in like doing the Russian thing, Russia. So I think it's interesting how he fired him right after that.
And then President Trump reportedly urged former FBI Director James Comey to drop the Michael Flynn investigation. Do you think this constitutes obstruction of justice? Firing, like, not firing. Telling him to drop the investigation, like, would that be an obstruction of justice in getting it handled the right way?
Well, yeah, because like you need to get like down to the bottom of everything and find out the truth. So it like cuts it off halfway. It feels like he's hiding something.
So if you are elected, how will you ensure that you don't obstruct justice and that you uphold the Constitution and rights?
Good question. Well, see, I would not break the law in the first place. Thank you.
I agree with her, but you have to be professional about it. Let justice do its thing.
To get caught, get caught. Don't get caught by not doing it. There you go.
Okay, and I have some questions for Dylan and Chase real quick. You have to step to the side. And what was your guys' initial reaction when you learned President Trump fired the FBI Director James Comey?
About time. He needed to be fired with his actions that he took during the Hillary email investigation, and finally that has been done.
I agree with my friend here. He definitely should have been released earlier, and he couldn't have done it fast enough. And he did it at an untimely time, and that probably wasn't for the best for him, but it is understandable, and he did have the right to fire Comey.
So would you guys say it was more damaging to the White House firing the FBI director or changing the story so many different times?
I don't think it damaged the White House. I think it's going to improve the White House as we get a better official to run that job, as he clearly could not do his own job.
In my opinion, I feel that it wasn't done correctly. They should have all been on the same story. They all should have communicated and understood what they were doing. Although it is right that if he felt he couldn't trust Comey, that he had the freedom to fire him.
And if you were to be president, how would you guys handle communication of information regarding your administration to the press and public?
I'd be straightforward with my administration, as I would want an open communication as they help me make decisions in the White House. We work as a team in the White House. That's how we get things done in the White House. That's how we work with Congress. I would work with them.
In my idea, I would work alongside them. I'd be a leader, not a boss. I would work alongside them and ensure that they all understand what my thoughts are, and I can hear them out to their fullest.
So during one of President Trump's council meetings, he would not allow American media to come in, but he allowed Russian media to come in and take notes and record or whatnot. So what's your view on that?
First off, the Russian media, all that information was posted globally, so it's not like the American people were out of information. Not all American media needs to be in every single thing that the White House needs to talk about, as some things can be top secret and needs to be out of the public's eyes.
I feel that he was more trying to make a message to the media of America that it doesn't control him, and that he was trying to show that he does have power over it, and it may not have been done in the best way, and it definitely wasn't done the best way, but he has the right to.
So what's your position on the First Amendment, like especially regarding like government information and stuff like being released to the public?
As far as the First Amendment, I am a full believer of free speech. I believe that media can go do what they want and give any information they want to the public, as that is their right. But there are some circumstances in the White House where sometimes media should not be allowed, as the public shouldn't know this information as it goes into the public. Also, other people from other countries or other special interests also find out about this information because it becomes public. Not all of our vital and important information needs to become public to protect the American people.
I feel that the government needs to be transparent to a degree. We do need to share and publicize what we're doing to allow people to understand what we are doing and have further trust with our people. Although, like Dylan said, there does need to be a restriction to an extent where some things are too important and too dangerous to just have everyone knowing this information. I feel we need to keep those things locked up tight and protected until we can work them out.
During the campaign, President Trump was criticizing Hillary Clinton for giving away information through emails, right? So would you think that President Trump would be considered hypocritical now, leaking information to the Russians?
Well, first off, the information that was leaked to the Russians was not something that was completely top secret, as it was information that was centered around ISIS and tactics to help defeat that, as we're not living in the Cold War anymore. We need to be working with our allies to fight ISIS and other groups like that. And the Hillary emails, that was a whole different thing, because we don't know what most of that information was, and we still don't know because James Comey led a terrible investigation, and that's why he's fired.
The information that he gave out, he did have the freedom to give out. He it was information dealing with ISIS, and it was information that he was expecting to give to his allies. And the fact that he just gave it to Russia first was maybe meant that there could be a stronger working there with the Middle East. And I feel that it could have been done better, but things worked out how they worked out, and that information isn't truthfully going to hurt anyone except for the enemy terrorists in the Middle East.
And do you believe the president's recent actions will lead to impeachment for himself?
No, that is just liberal media telling you that he's going to be impeached.
I agree. It's outrageous that you think just after 100 days that you've seen all of what he can do, and I believe he could do better.
They're blowing this out of proportion. They think this is like another Watergate scandal, which it's not.
You want me to come back up here too? I have all four of you up here.
You sure you want to stand next to me?
And the same question for you guys. All green, who called for President Trump's impeachment. Do you guys think that is appropriate to bring that up right now, or too soon?
I'd like to hear your opinion first.
Can you restate that question, please?
Do you agree with Al Green's,
Basically, with all of Trump's recent actions and behaviors, do you think he'll lead himself to impeachment?
Why don't I just answer, since they are just thinking and they can't think off the top of their head and they can't make actions quick enough.
Oh, but now I'm here. So anyways, yes.
Just goes to show our rude manners of our liberal side. Interrupting.
But anyways, yeah. How do I say this? I mean, like, 100 days, yeah. If you keep on continuously messing up, you kind of gotta go. I mean, like, you can't keep on giving you chances because you don't have enough time to learn everything. You gotta, like, bring out what you have all at, like, one time. And, like, if you're ready for it, then you go.
I feel that impeachment is a serious thing that could be a fact, but I don't feel we have reached that limit yet. There has been problems, but each one is getting figured out. And I feel that to just throw them under the bus is wrong. And just because the liberal side doesn't like a Republican president in the office of America doesn't mean that they should be allowed to throw him out just for that.
Well, I don't think what he's doing is really good for the U.S. I mean, he's making a lot of mistakes. Even though it's only 100 days, he doesn't have that experience, but he's shown what he is capable of, and it's not very good. He's dangerous and unpredictable.
Okay, that was all the questions we had.
Thank you guys for